This talk's going to be all about the reason people can't get lean, the reason people get disease and illness, and the cause of things like even so much as cancer, and understanding the body a little bit further with my own experience as to what I've been through. So this is ultimately rooted in something basically called the liver and gallbladder flush. Just to summarize it, and tell you my story on that. I actually all the way back in May of last year. It was actually April of last year. I found a book at my house. Here I'm at home right now, going for a nice little walk out back. Found a book at my house, and it was called The Amazing Liver and Gallbladder Flush. I didn't buy the book. I didn't order the book, but a girl I'd been dating had bought the book in the past. At the time, we'd been doing a lot of drinking, and I was drinking beer every day. So I was like, yeah, buy the book, but I didn't know we got it. She moved on. I found the book, and I finally did the liver flush myself. I started taking action. I came across the book, and I thought it was a sign. So I was like, I'm going to do this. I studied the whole book for like a weekend, and I took massive action. Now, it's been over a year. It's now July 20th, 2017. That was in, say around April of 2016. I've done 11 liver flushes. Going on to my 12th. I'm preparing for my 12th liver flush right now. And during the process of while I do a liver flush, while I cleanse the body out, I reflect on a lot of the teachings as to what I've learned about the liver flush and about the congestion in the body. I do that through reading the book, and anyone who's considering doing the liver flush, I'm not a doctor, practitioner, recommending you do anything, but I do, if you consider it, then I do recommend that you must read that book beginning to end before starting. All right, so I'm not making any recommendations, but I'm giving you my story as to what I've done personally. Saw a lot of comments coming in on a recent video about like why I look so youthful for my age. So I really believe that a lot of it does have to do with having no congestion inside the body. It's a huge advantage. So guys, how are you? So I like this shirt. My neighbor's here walking by. Ultimately, let's talk a little bit more about disease. What's the cause of disease, and even as much so as cancer. So the body, it's always thinking about surviving. It's always trying to survive. It's never suicidal. The body's never going to try to kill itself and create a disease or cancer. The body's always thinking like, how can it survive? How can it improve? And so when there's a disease or a sickness, the body isn't doing well, then there's congestion. There's blockage somewhere inside the gastrointestinal system, and the colon, and the large intestine, and the liver, and the gallbladder, and the kidneys. There's blockage to where the body can't get rid of the waste matter. It can't get rid of the junk that it needs to. And so it reacts by trying to protect itself by, let's say, raising a fever. So a person sometimes will get a fever and they think, oh, this is bad, I got to reduce my fever. But the body, it's just creating this higher fever, this temperature in the body to go up so that it can release some of these toxins that it needs to do. Even things like high blood pressure. Person's getting high blood pressure, but then what do? We go to a doctor and we suppress the blood pressure, thinking that it's got to come down. We got to reduce the blood pressure. It's not good. But the body actually is raising the blood pressure so that it can rid itself of some of this waste matter that's causing congestion. So it's doing its best to eliminate the waste matter. But we got to do our part. We have to do our part. The body is doing everything it can that it could possibly do to become better and survive and thrive. But sometimes there's just the river is blocked by a dam, and the dam is not supposed to be there. The dam has to be pushed through. We got to do our part to unclog that dam and release the mud that gets piled up inside the body. So that's what I'm truly doing, and what I've been doing for now 11 times is unclogging the mud that's inside of the liver, the gallbladder, the colon, even the kidneys, to create a new body, a new healthy body full of full of life and vitality, and a much more youthful look, and less wrinkles on my face. I don't deal with asthma anymore. Very agile, very limber. I don't get stiff, not stiff. Incredible life-changing process as to what's happening with it. Even Johns Hopkins University basically coined something called, I believe it's intrahepatic gallstones. And these are little green stones, like pieces of bile, that get basically produced by the body to protect itself from the waste matter. Then that they end up getting stored in the gallbladder and the liver. And even when if a person goes in for like an ultrasound or an x-ray, then the calcified stones, the stones that have been there for a long time, they can actually be seen by an x-ray or one of these devices. But the stones that Johns Hopkins University refers to, the intrahepatic gallstones, those are invisible because they're wrapped in bile, and the bile doesn't reflect back to the x-ray. It doesn't reflect back to the ultrasound. So there's no way to detect them, but they're there. And I'm talking to you who's watching this video. They're there. Yeah, you. Even if you're a teenager, you got them. Okay? Even if you're in perfect health, you got them. There's toxins that build up in the body, and they have to go somewhere, and the body doesn't know how to deal with them. What does the body do when it has formaldehyde, or it has, these different poisons that are, toxins or waste that go into the body through food, through air, through water that we drink? There's so many things that can get into the body, and the body doesn't know how to eliminate those, so it stores them and it creates these little gallstones. But my purpose is to help to be in this aspect is to help to be like a beacon of truth, and someone who's actually doing it, someone who's living it. And so you could look to me, it's like, hey, this guy's doing it. Here's what he's doing. He's living it. I'm the living proof, the living example of Andres Mortz's teachings. The master, this incredible master that suffered for years to then have the motivation to find and discover this information, that has made his lifelong journey and quest to writing 10 books, going through all the timeless secrets of health and rejuvenation. And now I get to actually experience it. I get to live it. How blessed am I? How fortunate am I to actually be able to be a part of that. So I wanted to share it with you, the people that are watching, to know that, hey, maybe you'll be inspired enough from what I am doing to make a decision to do something like that on your own. But if you do decide to cleanse out the body or the liver, don't do it on my accord, or don't listen to what I'm doing. You need to do your own research and read that book from cover to cover. I will say this, you're not going to learn it from the internet. You're not going to learn it from a website. You're not going to half-ass it. It doesn't work that way. It's a very detailed process. It's very strategic. And once the process is started, once it begins, you can't stop doing it. That's why I've been doing it for so many times, because they keep coming out. There's more in there, and I could feel it when they've been moved over. After I do the flush, I feel so incredibly good. And then a few days later, I feel kind of like the same. I still feel great, but I don't feel that incredible euphoria of being completely cleansed out of those stones. So I'm hoping that this time of the next, they'll be gone for good, and I won't have to deal with them anymore. And then, so once they're finally gone, you have to make it. Even during the process, you have to make a decision of not indulging in the foods that create so much pressure on the body and digestion, such as red meat and steak. It's talked about now that steak actually raises the insulin more so than I don't know if it's a couple ounces of sugar. I don't know the exact number, but a lot of sugar. Imagine eating a lot of sugar, and what it does to insulin levels in the body as compared to eating steak. And steak actually raises the insulin, far more. And it takes a long time for the body to digest. So that's why I've gone to what's called a pescatarian diet, more vegetarian than anything, but I do occasionally eat fish. I want to thank whoever it was that made the comment in my last video about pescatarian diet, because that's really what I'm doing, is I'm eating fish, mostly all vegetarian, but eating fish as well. And my main source of protein is still whey protein concentrate, as well as hummus. I do eat eggs, and then fish as well. I'm still getting a lot of incredible amount of protein though. So I feel good about it. And I'm not 100% certain as to how much protein the body really needs. I've always talked about 0.82 grams per pound of body weight when building muscle. But that may change as to my understanding of how much protein the body needs in the future as I go further along this journey. So just out for a little walk here. Haven't done a video on a walk like this out back in a minute. So it felt really good. Get out here to if you like this video, do the like button. I want to apologize to all the people in the last video. The music was so loud in the background, and I liked it that way. That's why I had it that way. It was too loud for some people, but maybe I liked it because I could hear what I was saying, because I knew what I was saying, and I thought it was just the right volume. So we'll keep the music out of this video, and I apologize to those who couldn't hear all the message in my last video about what to eat. And so it's a pretty beautiful night here. I walk back across here in the lake. Another day in paradise, as I would say. Here in the suburbs now. Well, it's not even the suburbs. Where I live is like right by the city, but it's like, enough to where it feels like you're in the country or suburbs somewhere. At least this community does. There's some friends coming over me. So anyways, I just wanted to shoot this video. Just hit the like button if you did like it. Subscribe if you haven't already. I'll put a subscribe button down here. And I'll put my most recent videos up here as well. And also a video that may be a good video to suggest to you in the future. You could check it out. So thank you so much. I love you, Gavin, Mehl. Thanks for your comments. Leave a comment below with what your thoughts are on healing the body, disease and congestion. What are the causes of these things and how can we deal with it? Well, we can allow the body to be cleansed out and eliminate the congestion, so then the body can do the healing itself. By treating the symptoms of the disease is not going to help. In fact, it could actually hurt us, trying to bring our fevers down, trying to bring our blood pressure down. These could actually hurt us. It's the body trying to do its best to eliminate these things. So we want to give the body every chance we can by allowing it to be free of congestion. Free of congestion, free of these things that are blocking the body's ability to rid the waste matter and the toxins that are in the body, because they're there. All right, done. What? Look at the sprinkler, dude. I'm not going in there.